Hi, Scottish Mudlarking here with Nicole and Craig. Today we've come along to the seaside village of Broughty Ferry and we're going to see what we can find in this amazing stretch of foreshore. So just found this really nice kind of green bottle. It looks quite thick glass. Certainly on this side, that's quite thick here. Doesn't look so thick here. It's quite sharp and pointy as well. Oh, that's interesting. Let's get that out and have a look at that.
All right, that looks like a very large kick-up.
That's massive.
Yeah,
it's such a shame it's broken.
Yeah.
That's a really large bottle.
Yeah. It's really broken in lots of different places.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's interesting though.
Oh, be careful doing that.
Move that up a bit there. See if I can get anything out. No, there's a bit sharp bit in there.
Yeah, well maybe use a wee stone or something just to dig that out and just watch your fingers.
Right, okay.
That's a huge kick up.
Yeah, it
and
really
a really
is.
large bottle. That must have had quite a circumference as well.
Yeah, that would have been like this, maybe like a champagne bottle.
Yeah, I think it's a big champagne bottle.
Yeah.
Not sure how old, the glass looks quite thin.
Yeah, but it's got air bubbles in it.
Yeah.
You can just see there, so I do think it's old.
Okay.
Sadly it's broken though. So
what a shame.
Yeah, another one that we'll leave here and bury.
We were promised sunshine today, but sadly we're not getting sunshine. Instead we're getting cloud cover, but we've come along to Broughty Ferry to see if we can find anything interesting. That's potentially a very large, thick, heavy piece of glass.
I think it might be a bottle bottom. Oh yeah, it is. You see the pointille mark down there? That's really nice kind of circle lines in here. Wow, this is a really nice piece. You can see there are no sides to this, so this is just all solid glass. It's very heavy, and I think it would probably make a really nice paperweight, so I think we'll take that.
Yeah, that's really thick though, very heavy piece of glass.
Yeah, and it's really nice with that little pointille mark in it.
There's lots of broken glass down here. This, I don't know if you can see it, probably because of the shape. There's a piece of what looks like clear glass here, very thick. There's a slight curve on that actually, so I thought initially it might be a window pane. But now that, oops, it doesn't want to play. But now that I look at it, there's a slight curve here. And I don't think that's a window pane at all. But there's a slightly more interesting piece just off to the left. So excuse harsh camera movements, please. It's another bottle bottom.
Aha! So a wee bit stuff growing on it
Yeah,
here.
something made home there.
Okay, wow, yeah. Another thick old bottle.
Yeah, some more pirate glass.
Yeah, it's definitely pirate glass. I mean, it looks like it's totally black, but it's actually olive green when you hold it against the light.
Not that there's a great deal of light today.
Yeah, but you can see it's not as thick as the bottle bottom that we found. So this has a kind of thinner bottom.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably a little newer, but still like 100 years old. So.
Okay, yeah. Now, do we want to take that, or are we going to leave that one to soften up?
Oh, I think we'll leave that one here. We've got the bottle one.
Okay. Well, before we go then, let's put the bottle bottom beside that one so we can see just how dramatically different those two pieces are. So the earlier piece that we found is extremely thick, very, very heavy.
There we go. So that's all glass, all bottle bottom, and that is the newer, thinner one.
So there's a large bottleneck here. Now I'm not sure if that's old or if it's quite new. It looks nicely broken off, almost a straight line. But the glass looks almost like pirate glass.
Oh!
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, because it looks very black.
Mm-hmm.
But it also looks in very good condition.
It does, yeah.
Let's have a wee look at that.
Let's see if it's whole. That's a really nice bottleneck. I wonder if this might have been the neck of that champagne bottle that we found. So, who knows? I think we'll take this one though.
Yeah, what are you going to do with that?
Don't know, maybe we'll have a craft project that we can make out of it.
So Nicole's just found a wee pile of things there. I've just stepped in a huge puddle. That's okay, I'm wearing my wellies. Let's have a wee look down there. So you've found a bottle bottom over there.
Yeah.
Now that's just a clear glass bottle bottom. There's a much more interesting thing here.
Yeah, it's over here. And I tried to dig it out, and it seems like it might maybe be a little bit bigger than I thought. So
okay,
let's see what we can get.
Well, just before we do that, there's a piece here. Is that another bottle bottom or bottle side? It's much less interesting. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to create some suspense around this object.
Yeah, I think this might be maybe from a sauce bottle.
Okay.
So we put it with this one that says brand on it.
Okay, so that's our less interesting finds here. We're going to see if we can dig this out. Well, let's see if there is a bottle under there. First thing to do then, yeah, clear away some of these stones.
Oh. Right.
Well, that looks promising.
Ah, no, I wish I had it brought you. That's trouble.
Be careful, watch your fingers. Don't want that breaking under your fingers.
No. Oh.
Look, here's a bit of metal. This is the shore that has helpful stuff all over it. And there's
Okay,
a
well,
crowbar we found earlier on as well.
Yeah.
Okay, that's looking very promising.
Oh,
isn't
yeah. Oh, well, this is just one side, obviously.
it? Yeah, I know. I mean, I thought I'd found that whole bottle over in Queen's Ferry as well, and as it turned out, nah, not quite.
Okay, well, you might have to speed up this process a little bit.
No, it's all interesting. You'll notice that I'm being chivalrous and keeping out of the way because I want this to be Nicole's achievement.
My find. Oh, look,
It's looking good. It's looking very good. Oh, wouldn't it be terrible if the neck went?
Okay.
Oh, whoa. Just watch your fingers. It is a whole bottle. That's very cool.
Oh, look, and it's got the same neck. The one that we found before.
That's a champagne bottle.
It kind of does look like a champagne bottle.
I'm pretty sure that's a champagne bottle. It has a huge kick up, just like the one with. Oh, that has a massive pontile in there as well. Now that's different. The other one that we found had no pontile.
No.
It just had a huge kick up.
Yeah.
So that, I think, is an old champagne bottle.
Or possibly a beer bottle, or maybe champagne. I'm not sure. Ooh.
That's a really excellent find.
It's very heavy. I think we'll try and get the water and the mud out.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's lucky.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Very nice.
Broughty Ferry was once a fishing and whaling village until it became a suburb of Dundee in the 19th century. The place grew up to meet the needs of the wealthy industrialists whose factories were making Dundee world famous as a location for jute, jam and journalism.
These days, Broughty Ferry is a lovely wee seaside town which has become a suburb of the city of Dundee. As Dundee's industrial output grew, the places around it, like Broughty Ferry and Newport just across the water, became getaways and popular residential areas for wealthy Victorian industrialists. Dundee's success also created opportunities in these areas, and in some cases, significant manufacture of industrial machinery and supplies became a significant part of the local economy. Dundee itself was a city divided between those who lived a cramped life among the noise and squalor of the town's works, and those who lived a life of opulence as jute barons and industrialists. Broughty Ferry offered a seaside haven a step further from Dundee's hustle and bustle for those who could afford it.
At its height, this place was known as the richest square mile in Europe.
Among the many interesting people and events that are associated with Broughty Ferry, one stands out from the rest. The person is David Blair, and the event is the sinking of the Titanic. David Blair, who was born here in Broughty Ferry in 1874, was, until only 6 days before its sinking, the second officer of the Titanic. Blair had been working as second officer while it ran through its trials before setting out on its first voyage from Southampton. Blair left the Titanic after his commanding officer was replaced, leaving him without a position of command. Blair wrote, "This is a magnificent ship, and I feel very disappointed that I'm not to make a first voyage." Blair stepped down from his post and left the ship, though when he did so, he left with a small key to a locker located in the ship's crow's nest, tucked away in his pocket. This locker contained a set of binoculars for use of the crow's nest. Various versions of the events to follow are registered, though all agree on one thing. When the Titanic hit ice, those on lookout that night in the crow's nest had no binoculars available to them, and this became a point of interest in the investigation concerning the sinking of the Titanic. Although it was agreed that Blair was not responsible for the ship's sinking, the event became a stigma that the family suffered into the next generation. It's hard to imagine that one set of binoculars locked away in a case without a key could sink a ship as advanced as the Titanic. Were there no other keys to that locker? How many pairs of binoculars would a ship like the Titanic have on board? Nonetheless, the story of the missing binoculars became infamous. The key's notoriety grew over the years, and it became something of a fabled object. So much so that when items from the Titanic were auctioned off, the key was sold as part of a lot that included Blair's postcard to his sister-in-law, and the pair reached a whopping £90,000. These days, no one seriously thinks that the key could have saved the Titanic, yet the story is so compelling that it elevated the value of this little piece of metal to astronomical levels.
Check out what I just found.
Can you see it? I'm going to ask Nicole to dig that out.
Thank you.
No worries, you found it. You saw it. It's yours to take.
I just wondered what it was. Maybe some people will know what it is.
Oh, I'm sure they will. Oh, it's still full of teeth. That's awesome.
Yep, it's an old denture. They're really small teeth though. Okay.
We're taking that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Quirky find of the day.
Uh-huh.
Now, there's a wee bit of ceramic just off to the side of that.
Oh look, it's got little roses on it. Can you see it right on the top here?
Yeah.
That bit of
they
transfer
just
there?
all look green just now. There's no colour in it as such.
No, they are all green. Yeah, that's true. There's no other colour on it, so it's not exactly ornate. Oh, cool. Loads of stuff here. Let's see what else we can find. Oh, can you see it? Can you see it? Let's see. Sure you can. It's a piece of pottery. Oh, and it's buried. It seems to be much bigger than I assumed it would be. Oh, wow. Oh, that is very nice. It's got a really nice blue and white transfer pattern on it. And it looks a little bit like it might be, let's get a bit closer. It looks a little bit like it might be Japanese cherry blossoms. That's really nice. I think we'll take that just because it's really nice and blue and white.
So it seems like you're having more luck than me. Let's have a wee duck down and we'll see what we found.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very cool. Now you can't see a thing here apart from another dirty looking piece of pottery. That's because the pattern, as Nicole's just pointed out, is on the other side. So let's get around there and have a look. Now hopefully you can still hear me over the wind. In fact, I can see our little manufactured muff pick it up. So I think we'll need to pick that piece out.
Wow.
Now that is, I think that's safe to say what that is, don't you?
Oh, no, it's not. Not
Is it
blue
not?
willow. No, I don't think so. It's a really lovely piece of pictorial pottery though, and it looks like there's a building on it, an amphora vase. It's a person standing here on the side.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's really nice.
Okay, let's take that. It's raining.
Yeah, I'm taking that.
Now we are just heading back along to the car, but whenever we see a piece like this, we just have to stop and pick it up. It's really nice. Now there's another piece just above it, and I'm not sure what that is. I think that's just a piece of stone. Kind of nice green coloured stone, but that wee piece of blue glass, so nicely frosted, some wee pit marks there. That's a lovely size. That's a beautiful wee piece of turquoise there. Nicole just spotted that as we were walking along. I hope the wind hasn't picked up to the point where it's stopping us from hearing anything now.
Oh, that is beautiful. It's a really, really nice colour, and it's, as you may have guessed, it's probably going to be a pendant, so that's great.
Lovely wee thing.
Yeah, we'll take that.
And I've just spotted a little blue nugget right in front of me. Let's just go pick that up. Can't leave any blues behind. That's a lovely wee blue nugget. Oh, that's nice. It's got a texture on it as well. Almost like the texture that we saw on the fairy lights. So we'll take that.
This is a really interesting piece. No idea what it is, so let's have a look.
It's an interesting shape, isn't it?
Yeah,
Quite bizarre.
So it's just here.
Do you know, as I get closer to that, I think it might be a handle of some kind.
Oh, it might be. I think it might actually have a little hole on the bottom
Yeah,
here.
so I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's one of two things. That's either a cord pull for a light or a flush pull for a lavatory.
Oh, but that'd be very large, no?
That'd be quite cool. Yeah.
Okay. Haha, I think you're right.
It was just the shape. The minute I saw it, I remember very old toilets from my youth.
Oh, I think it's a really cool find
It's
though.
very
I like
cool
it.
find. It's a great shape.
Yeah, maybe we can kind of fix the top and use it in our bathroom.
Well, maybe we can. We'll see.
As
We'll
a
see.
light pole.
Yeah. Now I think we know what this is.
Yep, I know what it is. It's the fence part of the blue willow pattern.
Cool.
And a really nice shape. Come check out this area. There's quite a lot of things here.
So of all these little bays that we're passing by, where the breakwaters are, we keep just ducking our head down and seeing something quite nice in amongst them.
Yeah.
So Nicole's just found this really nice wee piece of milk glass.
Yeah, that's nice.
Really chunky.
Yeah. Look, that looks really nice. It's really gleaming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now what do we reckon that might be? A wee bottom of a jar maybe?
Possibly. Oh yeah. It is definitely the bottom of a jar. You can just make out this little lip here where it would have stood. And then quite a small internal capacity, so that's
Maybe
really
a wee
nice.
posh ointment jar or something.
It's really nice and smooth. I like milk glass.
It's lovely, yeah. Now just off to the right of that, when Nicole spotted that wee piece of milk glass, I just looked down and lo and behold, here's this. It's either a jam jar or it's maybe one of these old lard jars.
Yeah, the dripping jars.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see it's a really big piece.
Yeah, it's got those distinctive marks.
Yep.
No part of a base though, just a section aside.
It's a shame it's not whole, eh?
Oh well, one of these days, you know, we're just going to find a Kyler's jar.
Oh, that would be my dream.
Yep. Until then, we'll just have to put up with these. Ooh, the wind's strong. It's blowing the camera all over the place. But yeah, we struck lucky. This seems to be a really good location for these little milk glass pots.
Yes. A lovely, oh look, that's even got a little bit of a pattern on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that. Now that's a really nice piece of milk glass. It's got all these vertical lines here, so it's clearly a bottom of something, probably a cream jar or maybe something, a preserved jar, but I'm going to take this one.
Yeah, it's a nice piece.
Yes.
Oh, this is a cool find. It's bright orange. I'm pretty sure there's no way this is going to be glass. 100% sure that this is plastic. It looks like an old brake light cover, that kind of thing. Well, it'd be an indicator if it's orange, wouldn't it? Well, if nothing else, we'll get that off the beach. Maybe, I don't know if we can do something with that. It's bright orange after all. But it's coming off the beach. Well, yeah, more bottle bottoms. That's again, it's got a big kick up. Nothing like as big as the one that we found earlier on, and certainly nothing like as big as the one that Nicole found on that whole bottle. It's still very, very thick. There's a tiny little piece of quartz down beside it. It's really pure, almost crystalline pure. You can see all the way through it. That's such a nice wee thing itself.
What I found. It's a lovely kick up. You can really see this little bit there that sometimes looks like a marble when it's stuck in the sand, but it's not. So we're going to take this for a kick up collection.
So I think the prize for the quirkiest find of the day almost certainly falls to this lower set of false teeth. It's a quirky find, very odd thing. We don't find them very often, but occasionally they show up in dumps, much like anything else that people throw away. It struck us when we found this that this is the only item on the table here that doesn't contain biological material. Despite the fact that these are teeth, these pieces may all contain bone, whilst this most certainly doesn't contain any biological material whatsoever. Now, it wasn't always the case that false teeth had no biological material in them. Maybe the most famous case of this was the fashion for Waterloo teeth that was popular following the Battle of Waterloo. During the Battle of Waterloo, around 50,000 young soldiers lost their lives. And very soon afterwards, opportunists made their way to the battlefields and collected teeth to sell them on to dentists and manufacturers of dentures. So if you ever hear the term Waterloo teeth, that tends to refer to teeth that were used in dentures that were collected from fallen soldiers.
Now there's a really nice bright bit of orange plastic. I'm sure we'll use that in a project, but we'll put that aside for the minute. So let's take a look at the nice things that we found. I'm going to start off with the green piece because it's quite unusual. Now this is very similar to one that we found in the series burn a couple of weeks ago, and Becky so very kindly sent us some information that this might actually be from a face cream called Isilma, made from around the 1900s, so that's really quirky. We found quite a few blue and white pottery pieces. Now they're all a little bit different. This one is bone china and it's very thin. This one is giving us a little bit of a headache because it has a really interesting quirky scalloped edge, but we're not sure if this is intentional or if this piece was just broken. It's very shiny still, so it might have either been buried in the sand or it's very old and it just didn't have the exposure to the sea. Now let's have a look at this really, really lovely piece. Now you know how much I love a pictorial pottery piece, and this one's really nice. You can actually see there's a person standing there. There's a bit of a person just on the edge there. What a nice piece. Well, Craig and I both really like this piece. It's really quirky and you might recognise it as being a pull from a cistern toilet. We might try and restore it, not sure yet, but it's really quirky.
I think it's fairly safe to say that this is the best find of the day. When Nicole first saw this, I don't think either of us expected that it would be an entire bottle, but we were both really overjoyed to find out that it was. So what can we say about this bottle? Well, the first thing to say is that this bottle is a turn mould bottle. A turn mould bottle is mouth blown, but is shaped by a mould. The bottle is rotated in the mould whilst it's being blown, and this removes the mould's seams, and it gives the bottle a smooth surface, but it can leave circular marks running around the bottle. It's worth noting that there were never any machine-made turn mould bottles, so we know for sure that this was a handmade, mouth-blown bottle that was made very many years ago. A large push-up and Mamelon are common on these turn mould bottles. The sides of turn mould bottles do not feature any embossed marks that could help identify the bottle or what it was actually used for. The base of turn mould bottles were often unmarked too, though there are two techniques that allow for markings to be applied to the base of these bottles. The first is a secondary pressing, and the second is a rotating base that's placed in the mould. This later technique was patented in 1887. The turning technique itself predates this rotating bottom by at least 30 years, and the first turn mould bottles can be dated to the 1850s. We reckon that this bottle was most likely made around the 1890s, because that is when most turn mould bottles were made. We reckon that a lot of the broken parts of bottles that we found were actually parts of bottles very much the same as this one. So it's quite incredible that we managed to find one in such good shape and in one piece. There's two other wee things that I want to look at on this bottle, and the first has to do with this neck. You can see if we look quite closely at this, that it's not even all the way around. It's been handmade. And this is a hand applied top. So the bottle would have been blown, the blowing rod would have been snapped off from this end, the glass would have been made molten again here at the top, and this prefabricated top would have been set in place. Lastly, I just want to take a very close look at the push-up here. As it's been made in a mould, we might expect it to be quite symmetrical, but in fact, the thickness of the glass around here and the circularness of the push-up itself are a little asymmetrical. It raises a few questions for us. We decided to bring this broken bottleneck back with us. We're sure that when we lay it down beside this bottle, you can see quite clearly that this neck looks certain to have come from a bottle, much the same as this one. Bottles like this would have held several different kinds of liquids. They may have held wine, they could have held beer, they may have even held non-alcoholic liquids. It may also be that because bottles like this were refilled and used many times, that it might have actually belonged to a hostel or a bar or a restaurant of some kind. And as customers came in to order their drinks, a bottle like this was filled from a very large barrel and delivered to their table. Whatever it was filled with, we still like to think it's a big champagne bottle. Having been found in Broughty Ferry, a place that was once incredibly opulent, filled with the money that was coming in from the businesses in Dundee,
They would have had much to celebrate at around the time that this bottle was in circulation.
If you're wondering whatever happened to the really nice small pieces of sea glass that we found, I'm about to turn those into jewellery, so keep watching.
Thanks so much for watching, liking and commenting on the video.
If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for your support and help through Etsy and Amazon. And thanks also to everybody who's been sending in photographs. I think they're really amazing. It's lovely to see the world through your eyes. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next time.